Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be cracking the code of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Using a really interesting source, your CompTIA security plus exam questions.
Yeah. I love this. Think of it like a cheat sheet
Yeah.
to understanding the core concepts of cybersecurity,
Right.
not just memorizing answers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect for anyone who is prepping for a security exam,
Of course.
or brushing up on their knowledge, or even just curious about how to navigate the digital world safely these days.
Absolutely. So let's start by dissecting a couple of questions about threat actors.
Okay.
One asks who a foreign government might hire for a cyber attack.
Okay.
The other, which group is most likely to use significant financial resources to target systems in other countries?
Mm-hmm.
The answer to both: organized crime.
So cybercrime is big business.
Yeah.
Why organized crime specifically?
Well, they're motivated by profit.
Okay.
They have deep pockets.
Yeah.
And they are highly organized.
Right.
Makes them a formidable threat in the cybersecurity landscape.
Makes sense.
It's a stark contrast to hacktivists
Mm-hmm.
who are driven by ideology
Right.
and usually lack the same resources.
So knowing your enemy is half the battle. Right.
Exactly.
So speaking of enemies, let's talk about social engineering.
Okay.
Several questions here highlight how easily people can fall for scams. Phishing, smishing, impersonation.
Right.
It's enough to make you paranoid.
It should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Social engineering exploits human nature,
Okay.
not technical weaknesses.
Right.
One question even paints a picture of this fake text from a CEO demanding gift cards.
Oh, yeah. I saw that one.
You think you'd fall for it.
Okay, maybe gift cards are a bit obvious, but honestly, some of these scams are so convincing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's why understanding the tactics is so crucial.
Okay.
Phishing uses emails.
Right.
Smishing uses text messages.
Right.
But the goal is the same.
Yeah.
Trick you into clicking malicious links or revealing sensitive information.
Right.
Impersonation relies on trust.
Okay.
Someone posing as your boss, a coworker, even tech support.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what are some red flags that we should be looking out for? Bad grammar,
Yes.
suspicious email addresses,
Absolutely.
urgent requests, anything else?
Those are good starting points.
Yeah.
But attackers are getting smarter.
Right.
So always scrutinize the sender's address. Look for inconsistencies in tone.
Okay.
Question any unsolicited requests, especially those demanding immediate action.
Right. Don't panic.
Don't panic.
All right. Let's move on to some foundational security concepts.
Okay.
One question that really caught my eye was about salting passwords.
Right.
How does that even work?
It's a surprisingly simple yet effective technique
Okay.
before a password is hashed. A unique random string of characters, the salt, is added to it. This makes it incredibly difficult for attackers to use methods like rainbow tables to crack passwords, even if two users have the same password.
So it's like adding a secret ingredient that only the system knows.
Exactly. A simple way to add an extra layer of protection to your passwords.
And speaking of passwords, there's another question here that explains SSO,
Oh, yeah.
or single sign-on. Why is this considered more secure than, juggling dozens of passwords?
Right.
Because it almost seems riskier to put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. It's about securing that one basket exceptionally well.
Okay.
SSO lets you use one set of credentials for multiple applications,
Right.
eliminating the need to remember and potentially compromise a bunch of different passwords.
Gotcha.
Plus, robust SSO implementations often include multi-factor authentication, which we'll discuss later.
Okay, so convenience and security, best of both worlds.
Yes.
Okay, now we're venturing into network security.
All right.
And I'll admit, this is where things get a little bit more technical for me.
Don't worry, we'll keep it high level.
Okay.
One question focuses on firewall ACLs
Okay.
or access control lists. Think of them as gatekeepers for your network,
Okay.
controlling the flow of traffic.
Right.
A question gives the example of a rule allowing only outbound DNS traffic from a specific IP address. It's about establishing a very specific set of rules for who can enter and leave your network.
So like a digital bouncer at a super exclusive club.
Exactly.
Only the people on the list get in.
Exactly. Another question dives into WOS,
Okay.
or web application firewalls. They act as a shield for websites,
Okay.
guarding against attacks like SQL injection and cross-site scripting.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine them as specialized security guards for your website,
Right.
trained to recognize and block attacks that target web applications.
And this ties in perfectly with the question about a website getting compromised through a buffer overflow vulnerability.
Right, right. A buffer overflow exploits software vulnerabilities to overwrite memory, potentially giving attackers control.
Right.
A Wave can help protect against this
All right.
by inspecting web traffic and blocking any malicious requests.
So waves are pretty crucial, especially considering how much we rely on websites these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Website security is paramount for businesses and individuals alike. Think about all the sensitive information we access online. Banking, shopping, even healthcare records.
Oh, yeah.
Protecting those websites is non-negotiable.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting gears to data protection.
Okay.
A couple of questions highlight the difference between encryption and sanitization. Why are both important?
Encryption scrambles data,
Okay.
making it unreadable without the correct decryption key.
Yeah.
It's like putting sensitive information in a locked safe.
Okay.
Sanitization, on the other hand, completely wipes data,
Right.
rendering it unrecoverable. Think of it as shredding a document beyond recognition. Both methods play a critical role in protecting your data at different stages.
Right. And then we have data classification.
Yes.
Using patient data as a prime example of why classifying data by its sensitivity is so important.
Absolutely. Patient data requires a high level of protection.
Right.
Data classification helps organizations define how different types of data should be handled, stored, and secured. It's like having different levels of security clearance for information.
Okay.
Ensuring the most sensitive data is accessible only to authorized individuals and protected with the strongest security measures.
Makes sense. And speaking of consequences, let's not forget how damaging data breaches can be.
Oh, absolutely.
They're constantly in the news.
You're right.
Yeah.
Data breaches can have devastating consequences for organizations and individuals. Financial losses, reputational damage, legal liabilities, even identity theft.
Oh, for sure.
The impact can be severe.
Yeah.
Robust data protection is not a luxury.
Right.
It's a necessity in today's digital world.
Absolutely. Could not agree more.
Yeah.
Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about some proactive security measures.
Okay.
A few of the questions focus on security controls.
Right.
Like jump servers, multi-factor authentication, and the principle of least privilege.
Right.
Can we unpack those a little bit?
Absolutely. Security controls are the tools and techniques we use to mitigate risk and protect systems and data.
Right.
A jump server acts like a secure gateway for accessing sensitive systems.
Okay.
Adding an extra layer of protection.
Right.
Users have to connect to the jump server before they can access the target system.
So it's like a buffer zone for your most critical systems.
Exactly. And then there's multi-factor authentication, or MFA, a familiar concept for many.
Right.
It's like having multiple locks on your door.
Right.
You need more than just your password.
Right.
Typically, you have like a code from your phone.
Right.
Or something you are like your fingerprint.
Yeah. So even if someone steals your password, they can't get in without that extra piece of the puzzle.
Exactly.
Smart. And what about this least privilege principle? What's that all about?
Least privilege is about giving users only the access they absolutely need to do their jobs and nothing more.
Okay.
This limits the potential damage if an account is compromised.
Right.
Think of it like giving someone a key to a specific room instead of the master key to the entire building.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what happens when something does go wrong?
Right.
I see a section here about incident response. What exactly does that entail?
Incident response is all about how we detect, contain, and recover from security incidents.
Okay.
It's a crucial aspect of cybersecurity.
Right.
Several questions emphasize the importance of having disaster recovery plans, or DRPs.
Okay.
These are like detailed playbooks for getting your systems and business back up and running after a major disruption, whether it's a natural disaster or a cyber attack.
So it's like having a fire drill, but for cyber incidents, you're preparing for the worst case scenario.
Precisely. And just like with fire drills, the more you practice and refine your DRP, the better prepared you'll be when a real incident occurs.
Another question mentions root cause analysis after an incident.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to understand the root cause? Isn't fixing the problem enough?
Imagine treating a patient's symptoms without figuring out the underlying cause of the illness.
Yeah.
It's the same with cybersecurity.
Okay.
Root cause analysis delves deep to understand why the incident happened, not just address the immediate damage.
Okay.
This helps identify vulnerabilities, improve our security posture, and prevent similar incidents from happening again.
So we're not just putting out fires, we're figuring out how to prevent them in the first place.
Exactly.
There's also a question about threat hunting, which sounds pretty proactive.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Threat hunting is like being a detective in the cybersecurity world. It's about actively searching for threats that might have already bypassed your defenses, rather than just waiting for alarms to go off. It's a more proactive approach to security. Think of it like going on patrol, looking for suspicious activity, rather than just responding to incidents as they happen.
I like that. Always be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears to compliance.
All right.
There's a question about PCI DSS, which I know is a big deal for businesses that handle credit card information.
Absolutely.
Why is that so important?
The Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI DSS, is a set of security standards specifically designed to protect cardholder data. Failing a PCI DSS assessment can have serious consequences for businesses, including hefty fines, reputational damage, and even the inability to process credit card transactions.
Wow.
So it's not just a suggestion. It's a critical requirement for any business that wants to accept credit cards.
Makes sense. You don't want to mess with credit card companies.
No, you do not.
Another question touches on the complexities of navigating international data protection regulations.
Yeah.
It sounds like a legal minefield.
It can be. Data protection laws vary widely from country to country.
Yeah.
And businesses operating globally need to be aware of and comply with the regulations in each jurisdiction where they operate. This can be challenging, but it's absolutely essential for protecting customer data and maintaining trust. The consequences of non-compliance can be severe.
Okay, now for the final stretch, let's talk about some advanced security concepts.
Okay.
One question introduces zero trust principles. Which seems like a whole new way of thinking about security.
It is. Zero trust is a security framework that assumes no user or device can be trusted by default. Even those inside the network. It's all about verifying every single access request, every time, regardless of where it originates. Think of it as a never trust, always verify approach. It's a more proactive and adaptive security model, recognizing that threats can come from anywhere. Inside or outside the organization.
So it's like a trust no one approach to security.
Exactly.
Interesting. And last but not least, we have a question about bug bounty programs. What are those all about?
Bug bounty programs are a way for companies to incentivize security researchers to find and report vulnerabilities in their systems. It's like offering a reward for finding bugs, encouraging ethical hackers to help improve security. They tap into the vast talent pool of the security research community and provide a structured way for researchers to report vulnerabilities responsibly.
So it's like crowdsourcing security.
Exactly.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But it's incredible how much we've learned from just diving into these CompTIA security plus exam questions.
It really is. And it's a testament to how comprehensive these questions are. They're not just about like finding the right answer. They're designed to make you think critically about the underlying concepts of cybersecurity.
And that's exactly what we've done today.
Yeah, we have.
We've explored different types of threat actors from the profit-driven organized crime to the ideologically motivated hacktivists. We delved into the tricks and tactics of social engineering. Learned how to spot those red flags before falling victim to a scam.
Absolutely.
We've uncovered some essential security concepts like salting passwords for that extra protection and the benefits of using SSO for both convenience and security. We peeked behind the curtain of network security. Understanding how firewall ACLs act as gatekeepers and WAFs shield websites from those malicious attacks.
Exactly.
Then there's the critical topic of data protection. We differentiated between encryption, which makes data unreadable, and sanitization, which securely wipes data. We also touched on the importance of data classification.
For sure.
Especially when dealing with sensitive information like patient data.
Absolutely.
And we can't forget the proactive side of cybersecurity. We talked about security controls like jump servers, multi-factor authentication, the principle of least privilege. all designed to bolster our defenses.
Right.
We even went a step further and explored incident response, from the importance of having those disaster recovery plans to understanding the value of root cause analysis and that proactive approach of threat hunting.
It's so important to have all that in place.
So what stands out to you as the expert here as like the most important takeaway for our listener?
I think the biggest takeaway is that cybersecurity is not a one-time fix.
Right.
It's an ongoing process. It's about constantly learning, adapting, and staying vigilant.
For sure.
And the good news is you don't have to be a tech whiz to understand the basics and take steps to protect yourself.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. And hopefully this deep dive has empowered you, our listener, to navigate the digital world more safely and confidently.
Exactly. And remember, curiosity is your friend.
Yeah.
If you're intrigued by something we've discussed, don't hesitate to explore further.
Yeah.
There's a wealth of information out there just waiting to be discovered.
And maybe, just maybe, we'll do another deep dive into the world of cybersecurity someday.
I hope so.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe online.